Hi, I'm Susan from Inside Out Yoga. Welcome to this class called SBF Yoga, which is designed to enhance your strength, your balance, and your flexibility. For this class, it'd be nice to have a blanket or a pillow, a yoga block, which you can substitute a thick book for, and perhaps a chair for our balance work in case you're feeling a bit wobbly today. So let's begin on our backs in constructive rest. Take your props, put them off to the side. And as you lie on your back, bring your feet on the floor a little wider than your hips and just let your inner knees rest together. Bring your arms by your sides with your palms up. Close your eyes and take a couple of deeper breaths to arrive. And then just observe what you brought to the mat with you this morning. How does your body feel? What's your energy level like? Your mood? And then start to create a conscious breath flow. Imagine your rib cage were an umbrella. And as you inhale, feel the umbrella opening. As you exhale, feel the umbrella closing. And as you do this, smooth out the breath. Slow it down. Pay attention to that umbrella opening and closing. And without straining whatsoever, see if you can begin to lengthen the inhalations and complete every exhalation. As you breathe this way, let the body weight drop down, bones becoming heavier, skin becoming softer. All is well. Let's do some pelvic rocks. So now align your heels with your sitting bones, about hip distance apart. Your knees face the ceiling, feet face dead ahead. Bring your arms by your sides with your palms down. And as you inhale, arch the low back. So you're bringing your hip points closer to your thighs. Low back curve increases. As you exhale, flatten the low back, lifting the pubic bone towards your navel. Continue those movements, these pelvic tilts, to your breath. The inhales arch the low back. The exhales flatten the low back. The pelvis stays on the ground. Try not to overarch the low back, so don't create any pain. We never want pain in our yoga practice. We feel the breath initiating this pelvic movement. And notice that the position of the pelvis dictates the position of the spine. Take one more round. And at the end of the exhale, come to a neutral pelvis, neutral spine. So hip points are level to each other. You're on that bony triangle at the base of the spine called the sacrum, and you have a slight curve beneath your low back. It's called neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Let's do a little bit of core work. So come to the very, very tips of your toes. And as you do that, you might already have noticed your low back curve increasing, maybe for you, maybe not. But if that happened to you, I'd like you to imagine you could bring your frontal hip points closer together and then lift your pubic bone towards your navel as though you were buttoning and zipping a tight pair of jeans. And then as you inhale next, Bring your right leg into a tabletop position, and as you exhale, imagine you're dipping your toes into a pool. And then inhale, lift the left leg tabletop, and exhale, dip those toes into a pool. Continue these movements, inhale, lifting, exhale, lowering, to your breath. And notice when the low back curve increases, and keep your neutral pelvis, neutral spine by hip points toward one another, pubic bone towards navel. Again, like you're buttoning and zipping your jeans. So we're bracing our core as we move the legs. Let's do one more each side. And then come back to that neutral pelvis, neutral spine, just lowering your feet on the floor. Notice how that affected your breathing, and bring your breathing back to a steady state. We're going to repeat that and increase the difficulty by bringing both legs into a tabletop. And if this is already too much, and when you button and zip your jeans, the low back curve still remains overarched, then bring your feet back to the floor and just repeat what we just did. Otherwise, if you can, legs in a tabletop. We'll take an inhale, and as you exhale, dip right toes into a pool. Inhale, lift leg up, and exhale, left toes. So you're going to continue that movement, buttoning and zipping your jeans to the degree you need to in order to keep your neutral pelvis, neutral spine. And when you lower the leg, I want you to feel as though the thigh bone were moving forward versus just the foot just dropping down. So it's a movement of the thigh bone forward that dips those toes into the pool, and it's initiating from your deep core muscles here. Let's do one more each side. And then just hug your knees into your chest. This is called Apanasana, low back stretch. And then bring the legs back to the feet, back to the floor. So feet face dead ahead, in line with sitting bones, knees face the ceiling. Bring your arms now, reach your fingertips to the ceiling right above your shoulders, palms face each other, and imagine you're hugging something between your hands, just kind of gently. So next, as you inhale, reach the right fingertips toward the wall behind you, and as you exhale, bring the hand back to starting point. Inhale, left arm, and exhale back to starting point. So continue this movement. And now what you might notice as you move the arm overhead is that your front ribs might lift off the floor, again, arching your back. So knit your ribs toward one another and continue buttoning and zipping your jeans so that the spine stays neutral still, and you're bringing this movement just into the shoulders, the arms. Let's do one more each side. And then keep your arms where they are, and we're going to do the same thing with the legs that we did earlier. And you can, again, start with toes on the floor, or to make it more difficult, start them in a tabletop. This is called dead bug. So as you inhale, right arm overhead, dip left toes in a pool, and as you exhale, bring everything back to center. Inhale, left arm, right foot, back to center. Keep this movement. Move to your breath, button and zip your jeans, and knit your ribs toward one another so that your pelvis and your spine remain neutral. At any point, go to the previous level with feet starting on the floor, or feel free to just take a rest. Let's do one more each side. And when you're done, hug your knees into your chest again, Apanasana. Let's do one more thing for the core. Bring your feet to the floor. Bring your arms by your sides, palms down, and start to walk your feet away from you to the degree you can where you're not overarching your low back. So your legs might get completely straight. You might be able to manage that as you walk your feet back and forth. Or you might just come a couple of steps. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that you're not overarching your low back. Try to breathe as you can, just walking the feet back and forth, la la la, taking a little stroll. And then walk them all the way out and come into Supta Tadasana, reclined mountain. So point all 10 toes towards the ceiling, your knees towards the ceiling. Flex your ankles so you're drawing your toes closer to your knees. And then this guy right here, that's your big toe mound. I want you to press both those big toe mounds away from your inner knees and draw the pinky side of your feet towards your outer knees. So you're spreading the soles of your feet, increasing the arches. And then press the very tops of your thighs straight down. When I do that, my low back curve increases. So for me, I'm going to button and zip my jeans just a little bit to bring the spine back to neutral as I press my thighs down. Good. So this is Supta Tadasana. Crown of the head is in line with the pelvic floor. The side body from ears, shoulders, outer hips, outer knees, outer ankles in line. Your hip points, the center of your knee, center of your ankles are all in one line. Your legs are active. And we'll come now to Shavasana, corpse pose. So let your feet flop open. Widen them to the bottom corners of your mat. Bring your arms wider with your palms up. Close your eyes for a moment. Shavasana, corpse pose. Just a way to absorb your poses. Let's come back to Supta Tadasana, reclined mountain. Align your heels with your sitting bones. Bring your arms by your sides. Flex your ankles, drawing the toes back towards the knees, but press your big toe mounds forward. Pinky toes back to spread the soles of the feet, and press the tops of the thighs straight down. Button and zip your jeans if that increased the low back curve. Let's add the arms, Supta Urdhva Hastasana, reclined upward hands pose. Bring your fingertips above your shoulders to face the ceiling like we did earlier, and hug something imaginary in between your hands. From here, slowly begin to bring both arms overhead, and notice if your front ribs, like mine are doing, have lifted towards the ceiling, increasing your low back curve. Instead, knit them toward one another and button and zip your jeans again, neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Keep that and any amount more. Bring your fingertips closer to the wall behind you. Keep hugging that imaginary object between your hands. Breathing here through the nose. One more inhale. And exhale back to Shavasana. Toes face the bottom corners of your mat. The feet are wider than your hips. Palms are up. Head heavy. All right, let's come on to all fours in a tabletop position. Hug knees to chest. You can either just kind of rock and roll up or roll over to one side. Press your hand down, lift yourself up, and come on to all fours. Before you do, I want to point out right here your index knuckles, because I'm going to be referring to your index and your thumb knuckles, so right, your inner hands here. So you face the top of your mat, I'm going to face you. Align your wrists beneath your shoulders, your knees beneath your hips, and point your index fingers dead ahead so that your wrist creases are pretty much parallel to the top of your mat. And then press your index and your thumb knuckles into the mat. And as you do that, turn your upper arms out so that the creases of your elbows face your thumbs. At the same time, kind of hug into the midline. So that's the position of your hands whenever you're bearing weight. And then we'll start to move to the breath through some cat-cows. When you're ready, inhale, chest away from navel. Your low back curve increases. You're tilting your pelvis forward. And as you exhale, push the floor forward and down. Round your upper back. Drop your head. Tailbone is reaching towards the floor. Inhale again, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Keep moving to your breath. Keeping your arms straight and strong. Pressing into the inner hands, which want to get light, so consciously press into them. And turn your upper arms out so that your elbow creases pretty much face your thumbs. Move to your breath. Make your breath smooth and deep. Take one more inhale in cow pose. Feel the shoulder blades moving closer together. And let's exhale one more time in cat. Feel your shoulder blades broadening, widening apart. And then as you inhale, come to neutral pelvis, neutral spine. And we'll come to child's pose, balasana. Widen your knees. Bring your toes to touch. And then push your hips straight back, sitting bones toward the wall behind you, until your hips reach your heels. If they don't reach your heels and they're up here, that's no biggie, just stay up here. But bring them back as far as you can, as long as there's no pain in the knees, and then keep them where they are as you reach your arms forward to create a nice little stretch here. And then push your hips back and lower your forehead to the floor, and if it doesn't reach it, then put it on that pillow, blanket, or block. I'm going to lift my head so you can hear me better, but your head should be completely rested, the back of your neck soft. Feel that umbrella opening and closing. Come back to a tabletop. Shoulders above the wrists or maybe a little bit farther back, knees beneath the shoulders. Let's do a little bit of core work in tabletop here. And by the way, if it hurts your wrists to be in this position, just make fists with your palms facing each other. Send your left foot back into a lunge, pressing the big toe mound down and lifting the thigh towards the ceiling. Notice if your pelvis tilted forward, if you increased the low back curve, and if that happened, button and zip your jeans, bring it back to neutral. Then you can keep it on the floor or lift your leg hip height, again, button zip your jeans, and then bring your right fingertips forward of your shoulders or lift it forward. You can also keep it down. This is a balanced core work pose, similar to dead bug, but now this is requiring some balance here. See if you can feel that umbrella opening and closing. Don't lose your index and your thumb knuckles on that left hand and hug your tricep into the midline. Look down instead of up so that the back of the neck stays long. One more breath. Bring the hand and the knee down. Let's widen the knees again, toes to touch. Send the hips back and down. Child's pose. Keep the hips where they are. Walk the hands forward. And lower your head to or towards the floor. Put it on a block, on a blanket if you have one, if it's not reaching the floor. Again, mine is lifted so you can hear me. And then practice the actions of down dog in this child's pose by, again, pressing your inner hands and then lifting your arm bones towards the ceiling, hugging the triceps in, and then push the hips again, back and down. Let's come onto all fours again, setting up for bird dog, other side. Wrists beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, tuck your toes, and send your right foot back into a lunge. If you look at your foot, you shouldn't be able to see your heel. Press your big toe mound into the floor, lift the thigh up, and then lift the leg hip height and button and zip your jeans to create that neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Keep your left hand as is, or fingertips can come forward, more of a balance challenge, or even more, reach the arm forward, palm in. See if you can open and close your umbrella. Look down instead of up. Soften the back of your neck. Hug the outer left hip and outer right arm into the midline as you continue to button and zip your jeans. One more breath. Lower hand and knee down. We'll come to child's pose, balasana. One more time. Knees wider than hips, toes touch. Send your hips back and down. Keep them where they are as you reach your hands forward. Your index fingers face forward.
Press your inner hands, lower your head towards the floor, and lift your arm bones towards the ceiling. Again, my head is lifted, yours is down. Feel the umbrella opening and closing. From here, we're going to come to downward facing dog. So keep your hands where they are. Bring your knees beneath your hips again, tuck your toes, and then push your hips up and back so that your sitting bones reach for where the ceiling and the wall meet. Keep your arms in the position that you had in child's pose, in balasana. And if you can keep your knees bent, or if you can, begin to straighten your legs, but send the hips up and back again to where the ceiling and the wall meet. As you send your hips up and back, use your legs to do that. Press the thighs back, and with your hands, push your mat forward. Then look towards your hands, and in as few steps as you need, start to make your way to the top of the mat. Once you're there, bring your hands to your legs for Ardha Uttanasana half lift. So hands are on your legs, lift your shoulders towards the ceiling, button and zip your jeans, and then fold forward Uttanasana, softening your knees, bring hands next to feet. Let your head go. Inhale again, hands to legs, Ardha Uttanasana. Lift your shoulders towards the ceiling, tone your belly. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. One more time. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, hands to legs. They can be above or below the knees, but lift your shoulders to the ceiling. And exhale, Uttanasana, softening the knees. We're going to inhale, reach the arms out and up, out to the sides, up overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, we did this on our backs. And hands to heart center, Samastitihi, by your sides, Tadasana. So I'm going to face you again for Tadasana. Tadasana is your foundation for all your standing poses, actually for so many of your poses. Align your heels with your sitting bones, feet face dead ahead, crown of the head over the pelvic floor, side body aligned from ears, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. Press your big toe mounds, your pinky toe side, your inner heels, your outer heels into the floor, and then lift the kneecaps straight up. Press the tops of the thighs straight back, and if that increased your low back curve too much, button and zip your jeans. Keep your chin level to the floor, and find length in the spine as you breathe. Your palms can face your legs. You can activate them as though you're pressing something between them. You can also turn them forward to open the chest a little more. I'll leave that up to you. And then we'll do some half sun salutations, Ardha Surya Namaskar. So from the top of your mat, inhale, reach the arms out to the sides and up. Watch those ribs, don't allow them to flare. Exhale, soften your knees, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, hands to legs, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press your feet, reach the arms out to the sides and up. Watch those ribs. Exhale, hands back and to your heart center, Samastitihi, equal standing. Again, to the breath. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, soften your knees, hinge from the hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach up, stand up, Urdhva Hastasana, upward hands pose. Exhale, hands to heart, Samastitihi, one more. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach out to the sides and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart, Samastitihi. Adding downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. As you exhale, plant your hands, index fingers face forward, step back to downward facing dog. Knees can stay bent as you push your hips back and up. You can begin to straighten them as long as you don't come forward. So keep your hips back and up. The main thing in downward facing dog is lengthen the spine, called axial extension. Inhale, look past your hands. Exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. Lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, so shoulders lift towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach the arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart, Samastitihi. We'll do that one more time. When you're ready, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, index fingers face forward, step back, downward facing dog. Knees bent or straight, but create that axial extension that lengthen the spine. Remember to press your inner hands, index and thumb knuckles, into the floor. Turn your upper arms out, hug your triceps in, and push your hips back. As you press your inner feet, lift the legs, lift the kneecaps up and press the thighs straight back. Lift your lower belly. Inhale, look past your hands. Exhale, make your way top of the mat. Lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Reach up, stand up, Urdhva Hastasana, upward hands pose. Hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Close your eyes for a moment. Regulate your breath. Smooth it out and feel that umbrella opening and closing. Let's do some balance work. We'll do our tightrope walking. So come to the back of your mat. And we're just going to walk back and forth from the back to the front of our mat with one foot in front of the other. So bring your hands to your hips and step your right foot, it doesn't really matter which, right foot in front of left, and keep walking as though you were on a tightrope. See if you can connect your toes and your heels. Don't worry about pace. Walk as slowly as you need to. Once you're at the top, switch the direction, trying to connect your toes and your heels. Core work helps with balance, so keep your jeans buttoned and zipped. And you're just going to be moving back and forth. Arms can also be in a T, like tightrope walkers do. That helps you with balance. If this feels too easy for you, you can lift your eyes towards the ceiling or close them. Try to step lightly as you can manage. If you feel a little bit wobbly today, you can just pause in the center of your mat as though you're standing on that tightrope, and you can put your hand against a wall or a chair. So I don't want anybody to fall. You want to challenge your balance, but you certainly don't want to fall. Balance is something that you have to work on regularly that we all tend to lose as we get older. So make a point to work on your balance. And let's go ahead now and pause in the center of your mat. So again, press your feet evenly, lift your kneecaps up, and see if you could spiral your inner thighs in and back. Button and zip your jeans. To make this harder, arms can come overhead. Umbrella opens and closes. And then step the other foot in front. Arms can come back to your hips. Press your feet evenly. Spiral your inner thighs in and back. Button and zip your jeans. Smile. And then let's bring hands to heart, Samastitihi. Close your eyes for a moment. Find your breath again. Next balance we're going to do is called clock face. So bring your hands to your hips again. Again, if your balance feels a little off today, hand can come against a wall or a chair. And we'll start, I'm going to mirror you, but we'll start with the right foot. So I'm going to be mirroring you. So step your right toes forward to 12 o'clock, and then move the toes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12, and then to starting point. We'll do the other side, left foot. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, back to starting point. As you do this, try to step as lightly as you can and reach as far forward and back as you can within reason, and make sure you're buttoning and zipping your jeans. So we'll do the right side again. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whoops, 5, I've got props back there, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12, back to center. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, back to center. Good. Couple more things for balance, and then we'll move on to some classic standing yoga poses. So the next thing we'll do is a balance challenge, and it also strengthens your gluteus medius, which are these half moon shaped muscles on your outer hips. So from here, we'll start again with the right foot. I'm mirroring you, and bring your right foot out to the right some, which is called abduction. So you're abducting that leg. You're going to want to turn the foot out. That's going to be tempting, but instead, even err on the side of pigeon toeing. We're trying to strengthen this muscle, and when the foot is turned out, it doesn't engage. So turn the foot in, keep your hand on that hip, hug into the midline, and Louise, you're going to count. That's our student who always counts for us, but we're going to pretend she's here, to 20. So 20, 19, 18, 17, pigeon toe your foot, 15, 16, 15, I lost count, 14, where are you, Louise, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to center. Okay, other side. Sorry about that miscount. So now abduct your left leg, and the foot faces in versus turned out. So that's important. It's going to want to turn out. It's not about lifting the leg high like that. That doesn't matter. It's just about engaging this muscle and then challenging our balance at the same time. So left leg out, abducts. We'll do 20 again. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center, Samasthiti. So you should have felt a little bit of a burn. And these muscles, gluteus medius, we're going to use in a classic yoga balance posture we do pretty much every class, tree pose, vrikshasana. So we'll start by keeping the right leg in Tadasana. Turn the left foot out at the hip, and your hip points are going to be facing dead ahead and not turning towards your bent knee side. So keep the pelvis fixed. Big toe mound on the floor, heel into your leg, hug into the midline. So you can stay here. Again, hand can be on a chair or a wall if this is too wobbly for you. To increase the difficulty, bring your foot onto your lower, or if you have the flexibility, your upper leg, but not on the knee. Hip points dead ahead. Hug the foot and leg together. You can keep your hands at your hips or in that T position or overhead. like Urdhva Hastasana. So your standing ankle's wobbling quite a bit, it's supposed to. Try to button and zip your jeans, and you should feel that this is a balance challenge. If it's not, lift your gaze towards the ceiling or close your eyes. Whoops. One more breath. Let's come on out. Standing knee lift to bring us to neutral, and then foot to the floor. Close your eyes for a moment and just feel the effects of that pose on your body, your mind. We tend to really judge ourselves in balance poses, especially. I've noticed that in myself and in my students. So let that go. Just notice that you're practicing, that you've shown up, and that's the main thing. Left leg, Tadasana. Right foot turns out at the hip. Keep the foot on the floor to start. Hip points dead ahead. Hold on to your chair as needed. To make it harder, lift your foot above or below the knee, not on it. Again, hug into the midline. Button and zip your jeans. Reach your arms overhead if you like. And if you need more, lift your eyes or close them. Try to open and close that umbrella. Hard to do. We always want to hold our breath in balance poses. So part of the practice is also trying to breathe freely and to smile. Standing knee lift, Samastitihi. So we'll do each side one more time. Again, feel free to use whatever props you need to help your balance. Right leg Tadasana. Left foot turns out. Keep it on the floor or lift it. Hands to heart or in that T or overhead. They can also stay at hips. Gaze at a single point. I forgot to mention that. So gaze at a single point, that's called a drishti, a gaze point, and that will really help steady your body, and it actually also helps steady your mind. When your eyes wander, so does your mind. Maybe lift your eyes again. Whoops. Stay with the pose, stay with your breath. Standing knee lift. Samastitihi, one last time, other side. Left leg Tadasana, right foot turns out. Lift the foot on the leg if you're doing so. Hug into the midline. Reach your arms up if you like. Lift your gaze if you like. Find something that's challenging your balance and try to steady your breath. Soften your eyes. Keep your eyes fixed. Soften the back of your neck. Standing knee lift. Samastitihi. Let's go ahead and close the eyes if that feels okay for you. Let all that go. Feel your umbrella opening and closing. Stay present with each pose, with each breath. Not with where you were or where you think you should be. Right here. Let's kind of clean the slate with a half sun salutation. When you're ready, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, stand up. Exhale, hands to heart, Samastitihi. So we'll do some basic standing poses. You might want to have a block in front of you for our wide-legged forward bend. But come into a wide-legged stance. Parallel your feet to each other. Bring your arms in a T position, and generally in this position, classically, your ankles are about beneath your wrists, but your feet can certainly be closer together as needed. From here, we'll come into Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2. Turn your right foot forward, dead ahead. Turn your back heel slightly back. Your front heel intersects your back arch. With your back hand, send your back hip slightly forward, so that hip moves towards that heel. Press your feet, lift your thighs, and bend your front knee so that the knee is above the heel in line with second toe, like Tadasana. Like Tadasana, send this thigh straight back and lift your lower belly. Then reach your arms out to the sides, palms face down, and gaze past your front middle finger. Feel your umbrella opening and closing as you feel your shoulders melting away from your ears. Inhale, straighten the front leg, bring your hands to your hips, parallel your feet for Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2, second side. Left foot dead ahead, knee in line with second toe. Back heel slightly back, front heel intersects back arch. With your back hand, send your back hip forward. Lift your knees up as you press your feet down and bend the front knee, knee above heel in line with second toe. Reach your arms shoulder height away from the midline, gazing past your front middle finger. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Umbrella opens and closes. Inhale, straighten the front leg, hands to hips. Switch sides again. Right foot forward, back heel back. Back hip forward, press feet but lift thighs, bend the front knee. So make sure that knee is definitely above the ankle, in line with second toe and not drifting into the midline. So it's going to want to drift in for many of us. Very important it stays above the heel in line with second toe. If it's not doing that, you can send your back hip forward until it does that, and then reach your arms up as you bend that knee. Knee does not go past the ankle, right above the ankle. You can lengthen your stance for more of a challenge, or you can shorten, but the alignment stays the same. Breathing in and out through the nose. Straighten your legs, come back to center. Second side, left foot forward. Right heel back, press feet, lift thighs, send back hip forward, bend the front knee, reach the arms out. Lots to think about, to feel in your body. And of course, the more you practice, the more skillful you become at this. Just like when you learn to drive, you start to think about what you have to do every little thing, and then it becomes second nature. The more you do this. Feel the umbrella opening and closing. Feel those shoulders softening. Great. Straighten the front leg. Parallel your feet. First side again, right foot forward, back heel back, back hip forward. Lift the thighs, bend the front knee. Keep that alignment. Reach arms up. Let's come into reverse warrior. So lightly touch your strong back leg, flip your front palm up, and take a side stretch, sinking your front thigh more deeply and firming the back thigh more deeply. From here, take your back hand to your back hip and bring your front forearm to your front leg. Press the forearm and the leg together, firm the back thigh, and turn your chest. Parshva Konasana, extended side angle. You can keep your hand at your hip, or you can reach your arm above your shoulder with your palm facing me, or you can swing your arm back and then forward with the hand in kind of a karate chop position. Either way, really firm that back thigh, keep pressing forearm and thigh together, front leg, and then turn your bottom ribs towards your top. Great, come all the way back up. Use your strong legs, Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2. Parallel your feet to each other. Yay. Left foot forward, back heel back, Virabhadrasana B again, Warrior 2. Send back hip towards front heel. Firm your legs. Bend your front knee. Keep that alignment, that position. Reach your arms out to the sides. Reverse your warrior. Lightly touch your strong back leg. Flip your front palm up. Take a side bend, but keep your front knee bending, maybe even deeper. Back leg very strong. Button and zip your jeans. And then bring back hand to hip, front forearm to front leg. Press your forearm and leg together. Firm your back thigh. Turn your chest open. You can keep this back hand at your hip, or reach the palm, fingers up, palm faces me, or swing back and forward. That hand is in a position as though you are karate chopping the floor. This is a chest opening, hip opening pose. Keep pressing forearm and thigh. Turn those bottom ribs towards the top. Keep firming the back leg. Strong legs, Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2. Parallel your feet to each other. Let's take a forward bend from here. So feet are parallel to each other. Legs are strong, so lift those kneecaps up. Send your elbows back, and we're going to hinge from the hips. So you start to stick your butt out, hinging from the hips, and bring your hands to your block. If you have 2 blocks, you can put 1 hand on each block. Lengthen the spine. Find that axial extension that you did in downward facing dog. You can also lower your block, hinging from the hips. You can also remove your block if you have the flexibility in your hamstrings. But keep this axial extension, this length in the spine, versus rounding to try to get your hands lower. So I like to often just stay in this half position, this Ardha position, and really extend that spine. If you can fold a little bit more, but it's definitely not the goal. Let's inhale, lift halfway again. Hands to hips as you exhale. Come to stand to the top of your mat. We're going to do one more basic standing pose, Trikonasana triangle pose. Widen your feet apart again. Point your right foot dead ahead, left heel back. Send your back hip forward. Reach your arms up. Bend the front knee, so Virabhadrasana B. From here, let's straighten the front leg as you reach the front arm up, and then side bend over your leg. Bring your hand to your leg, other hand to your hip. Imagine your pelvis, your shoulder blades, and your head were against a wall. And then like Parsvakonasana, turn bottom ribs to top, reach the top arm up. Trikonasana triangle pose. Let's come into reverse warrior from there. Bend your front knee. Take that side stretch. Back to Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2. Parallel your feet, straighten the front leg, and switch sides. Trikonasana triangle. Left foot forward, I'm mirroring you again. Right heel back. Reach the arm, actually keep the back hand to the back hip. Now I think we did Virabhadrasana B first. Let's come into Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2. And then straighten the front leg, reach that front arm up. Side bend over your leg. And again, imagine the back of the head, shoulders, pelvis against a wall. Keep your legs lifted. Keep your belly strong. Turn bottom ribs to top and reach that top arm up. Palm faces me. Don't let your head drift forward and stick your butt out. You're against a wall here. Come all the way up. Virabhadrasana B. I think I'm switching the order of these, but we're still doing the reverse warrior. Virabhadrasana B. Parallel your feet to each other. We'll take that forward bend one more time. Position your block if you're using it. Make your legs strong. Send your elbows back. Lift your chest. Hinge from the hips. Bring your hands to your block. And you can also use a chair here if you're finding yourself rounding. So we're looking for that axial extension. If you can keep it as you lower the block, then do, you can ditch the block if you like, and then walk your hands back. Crown of the head moves closer to the floor if you happen to have this flexibility. And then press your inner hands and draw your elbows toward one another and toward the wall behind you if your elbows are bent. Let's inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come to stand. Heel toe your feet closer together. Bring your hands to your heart, close your eyes, Samastitihi. Feel the umbrella opening and closing. We're going to take one more half sun salutation to downward facing dog. You can, of course, skip downward facing dog, and then we'll come onto our backs. So you can move your block off to the side. You might want it for some of our supine poses. Let's come to the top of the mat, hands to heart. When you're ready, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands and step to downward facing dog. Index fingers face forward. You're spreading the fingers. Press your inner hands. Turn your upper arms out. Hug into the midline and then push your hips up and back. Inner heels reaching towards the floor, knees bent or straight. Let your head go completely. And then lower your knees to the floor. Cross your ankles. Lie on your backs in constructive rest. Use a pillow or a blanket underneath your head if your chin's lifting toward the wall behind you. Bring your arms in Shavasana, so away from the body with the palms up. Inner knees are touching. Resting here. Let's hug the knees into the chest, Apanasana. And make some leg circles. So bring your hands to your legs, press them forward, widen them apart, bring them in together towards your chest. Keep moving. Switch the direction. Hug the knees in again, and bring your feet to the floor, back to constructive rest. Feet are wider than your hips, knees touch. Let's do some windshield wipers. Arms in a T position. Lower both legs to the right. You're on your outer right foot, your inner left. And then like a windshield wiper, bring the legs up and to the left. Keep moving back and forth to your breath or at a pace that feels good for you. One more each side. And then back to center for bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Your knees face the ceiling and your toes face dead ahead, heels in line with sitting bones again. Let's bring your arms by your sides. And when you're ready, we're going to do a dynamic version here. So pressing your inner feet, I want you to, as you inhale, lift your arms, your pelvis, your trunk, bringing the arms overhead. And as you exhale, lower everything down and see if you can land everything at the same exact time. Inhale, lift your butt, your trunk, your arms. Exhale, lower and land at the same time. Continue to do this to your breath. Keep your feet evenly pressing. So for me, I have to add a little extra attention to my inner feet, which like to lift up. And lowering everything at the same time takes a little bit more core awareness. So you might need to button and zip your jeans.
as you lift and lower. The next time your arms are overhead, pause. Walk your feet a little away from your pelvis if you can, and lift the toes, pressing your heels into the floor so that you are recruiting your hamstrings and your glute muscles. Button and zip your jeans. Try to squeeze your butt a little bit. Big smile. And then let's lower everything down again, same unit. Constructive rest, feet wider than your hips, inner knees touch. Arms by your sides with the palms up. Let's take a thread the needle. We'll start right side. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh and flex that ankle. So big toe mound away from inner knee, pinky toe towards outer knee. Push your left foot forward and down into the mat. And with your right hand, press your right thigh away from your hip. You should be feeling a stretch in your outer right hip. You might also be feeling one in your right inner thigh. And if you're not feeling much of anything, then reach for your left hamstrings or shin if you're more flexible, and draw that left thigh back, keeping the knee in line with your left shoulder. It's going to want to drift to the center. Keep it in line with your left shoulder. And as you pull the leg back with equal resistance, press your right leg into your left. So again, feeling a stretch, outer right buttock, maybe inner right thigh, maybe both. Notice if the shoulders are hiking up towards your ears or toward one another, and see if you can rest your shoulder blades on the floor. Let them sink, feeling your collarbones spreading. Feel as though the bones behind the ears were lifting towards the wall behind you, creating what's called a posterior glide. Good. Then keep your figure four shape, let go of your leg and bring the foot to the floor. And then with your right hand, hold on to right hamstrings and bring the right knee towards the right armpit. You can also hold your shin here. You can relax your foot if you like. Stay here, or again, hold your hamstrings or even your lower leg and see if you can make your right heel lift towards the sky so your right shin is vertical. So you could hold your hamstrings, you can hold your shin, you can even hold your outer foot if you can reach it without misaligning your upper body. Whatever you're holding onto with your right hand, resist them equally so that this thigh feels like it's descending. And this leg can stay where it is. That's plenty for most of us. If you want to go deeper, if you've got this, no matter where you're holding your right leg, you can straighten your leg in Tadasana, much deeper position. Again, not misaligning to go deeper. Then you're losing the benefit of the pose. You're actually potentially injuring yourself. So keep the position always, the alignment of these positions before you go deeper. From here, we're going to come into Gomukhasana, cow face. Cross your right thigh over your left, so now your knees are in line with each other. If this is too much for you, come back to the figure four. Then hold on to hamstrings again as you draw both knees towards the center of your chest. Keep the right ankle flexed like we did with thread the needle. You can also hold your shin. You can also hold your outer feet if you can easily reach them and you're not misaligning in order to get there. So I'm going to hold my shin. That works best for me. And I'm noticing my right hip hiking up towards my right shoulder. So I'm going to send it away from my shoulder so that my hip points are even. And then pull the legs back, but send that right hip forward again. Good. Let's switch sides. First, take an Apanasana, hug knees to chest, and then bring both feet to the floor for thread the needle, second side. Cross left ankle over right thigh. Flex that ankle Big toe mound away from inner knee, pinky toe towards it. And then push your right foot forward and down into your mat. And with your left hand, press your left thigh away from your left hip. So that's the alignment. Your hip points are even with each other. Sacrum on the floor. To go deeper if you like, thread your hands through, grab right hamstrings. Or for my body, I like to grab my shin, not misaligning to get there. Instead of letting the knee drift into the chest, keep that right knee in line with right shoulder. And then just pull it back gently as you press your left leg into your right. Breathe into whatever demand this pose is creating in your body, in your mind. Don't worry about depth at all, just notice sensation. And stay present with that sensation. Breathe into it. Be curious about it. Notice if there's increased warmth there. Notice how when you exhale consciously that the tissues almost seem as though they're softening. Enjoy this pose for one more breath. And then keep your figure 4 as you lower the right foot back to the floor. With your left hand, hold your left hamstrings and pull the knee towards your left shoulder. You can also hold onto your shin. Either way, press straight down. To go deeper, let's take a half happy baby. So again, you can hold hamstrings, lift your heel towards the sky so that your shin is vertical, and press straight down. You could also hold your lower leg, press straight down, or your foot, press straight down. Whatever you're holding, kind of resist in the opposite direction to feel the thigh descending and a stretch in the groin, which is the upper inner thigh. And don't worry about depth. If you like, straighten the right leg without misaligning. That right leg is in Tadasana, so toes face the ceiling. Leg is active, thighs pressing down. Close your eyes if you like, and focus on your breathing. Feel that umbrella opening and closing as you smooth the breath out. Supta Gomukhasana, reclined cow face. Cross left knee over right. And again, if that doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for everybody. And it's such a similar stretch to thread the needle, so feel free to come back to whichever thread the needle worked for you. Or Supta Gomukhasana. Automatically, this hip wants to hike up towards the shoulder to avoid the stretch. Instead, send it away from your shoulder. Keep the pelvis even and hold on to hamstrings or shin as you draw the knees back. And this top ankle stays flexed. You can hold outer feet if that's a better stretch for you. I tend to misalign when I do that, so I'm going to go into my optimal position. As you draw the legs back, send this left hip forward. Let the shoulders get heavy. Close your eyes if you haven't already. I don't mind if you relax the right foot, but keep the left foot active because that's the hip that we're stretching that same side. Feel the back of the head becoming heavier. Feel your skin becoming softer. Then uncross, hug both knees to chest. One more pose before Shavasana. Widen your knees now, both knees to both armpits. Again, feel free to just hold hamstrings. Shins work great. Then lift the heels to the sky again. You can press onto your hamstrings. You can hold your legs and press them down or hold your feet. The alignment stays the same either way, and you're resisting whatever you're holding. If you like to, you could rock side to side. One more hug of the knees into the chest, Apanasana. And let's take a total body stretch. Stretch your heels, your legs away from you, your arms away from you, and into Shavasana corpse pose. Heels as wide as the bottom edges of your mat, or wider if you like. Arms 45 degrees or more away from your body, palms up. I like to put a blanket on my pelvis. Helps me ground. You also can use that blanket for your head, as we said. And then just let everything drop down. Feel all of your bones descending. Really feel their weight. And then as the bones drop, notice the softness of your palms, of the arches of your feet, the backs of your knees, the back of your neck, your temples, your jaw, your throat. Let your breath do its own thing. Observe it becoming more shallow. Observe your body becoming heavier and heavier. Take rest. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some gentle movement to your fingers and your toes. Lick your lips, take a swallow. And with your next inhale, stretch your arms overhead, lengthen your legs forward. And as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your feet, bring your arms by your sides. Then roll over to one side, resting your head on an outstretched arm. And press your palm down, lift yourself up into a seat. You can sit on a chair, you can sit on your blanket or your block. And cross your legs. Create that nice tall spine as you close your eyes. Come back to your breath and notice the effects of your practice on your body and your mind. How did your practice align with your intention? More importantly, what can you take off the mat with you? Bring your hands to your heart, acknowledge you showed up. And let's end as always with gratitude for our health, our loved ones, our connection to each other, and for the infinite possibilities that surround us in each moment. Thumbs to forehead, to heart center. Bow your heads. Namaste, yogis. Such an honor to teach you.